We're fast approaching the business end of the IPL season, and the one team which looks set to make the playoff rounds is Sunrisers Hyderabad. It gives us great pleasure to be joined by the man helming the Orange Army. Kane Williamson, thank you so much for speaking to us here at WION. Your first full season as captain in the IPL, and what a start it's been.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been a good start for the side. Nice to have a number of wins, and nice for the team to be tracking in the right direction and seeing those little bits of improvement that we've been wanting to see. But still, I guess you're always wanting to build on performances, and we're certainly wanting to see that coming into this back end of the competition, because we've seen so many close games. We know that every team that you play is a very tough game.
Would you say, Kane, you are reaping the benefits of some wise decisions which were made at the auction table back in January? A few key personnel were kept in the setup, and where players were lost, the Sunrisers found somewhat like-for-like replacements, which meant the overall team composition stayed pretty similar.
Yeah, I think you're right. The balance has probably remained the same. I think there's still 14 new players this year from last year, but the bowling depth has been a strength of ours this year, and something that has had to have been called upon. So a really important part to that. I suppose the tough part is looking ahead at a season and wondering perhaps what surfaces you might be presented with and how best we can look to operate as a team, and that's something that has varied a lot, but that's where I guess players have required to adapt, whether that's with the bat, the ball, and those sorts of things. So the balance of the squad is a strength, but something we're certainly wanting to see all guys fit on the park, and looking to build on performances as a group moving into the sort of the last 5 or 6 games.
Kane, in a season where so many teams have struggled to find a set bowling combination, it must be an absolute luxury to have the bowling riches which you have at your disposal, isn't it? You had Bhuvneshwar Kumar, arguably the leader of the pack, missing for some of the games, yet your bowlers defended 2 of the lowest scores of the season.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, it's always a big loss if someone like Bhuvi is injured, but Sandeep Sharma comes in, who's a very experienced operator, has a similar skill set to Bhuvi, and perform the way he did was really important for us. And that experience, I think, was huge in how they adapted and operated on those particular surfaces, because those were both very tricky surfaces. In terms of the wickets, were perhaps some were damp and turning and seaming a little bit, and the bowling attack with their experience managed to get most out of it. So that was really important for us, winning those tight games with the bowling and the bowling depth that we showed in those games.
When you look at the squad composition you have, Kane, it's also a great blend of experience and youth. Now, while you, of course, expect the seasoned pros to deliver, who among the younger lot has stood out the most to you?
Yeah, there are some younger players. Some of those younger players have obviously played for India as well, and got a lot of experience. There's certainly some really exciting young players in the side, the likes of Deepak Hooda and Ricky Bowie, who are both really exciting, talented batsmen. But like you say, there is a good blend of experience and youth, and I think that is important. And it's important also, obviously, going into this back half of the competition, which, you know, I think there's still, most teams, I believe anyway, have still got a chance. So every team are out there desperate to win games of cricket.
All right, speaking on a personal front now, Kane, if I'm speaking to one of the best batsmen from this generation, it would be cardinal on my part to not bring up his core strength. Your own batting has been right up there. The runs appear to be flowing even in tricky circumstances, and you're maintaining a healthy strike rate with proper cricketing shots. Are you happy with how your batting is coming along?
Yeah, it's sort of I guess wouldn't say it was flowing. Sometimes the surfaces haven't perhaps been the best for flowing batting maybe, but I guess from my perspective the focus is about trying to play my role as best I can and contributing to the team, and I think that's all the guys' focus, and we've seen a number of contributions from a number of guys, what in a lot of instances have been low scoring matches, and to win those matches I think has been really important, and it's sort of shown that sometimes getting those partnerships, whether it could be a run a ball for 20 runs, has been really important. So it's one of those things we're wanting to build on, keep making sure that we're smart with how we operate as a batting group, because we're going to be playing on more different surfaces coming into each game really, so we do need to adapt well.
Another aspect, sticking with you personally, Kane, you're the only overseas captain in the IPL this season. You also, of course, lead New Zealand across all formats of international cricket. So what that means is no break from the leadership role for you. The thinking cap has to be on at all times.
Yeah, obviously the captaincy in the IPL came about quite suddenly with Davey not being here. So yeah, that was a bit of a last minute thing to eventuate. But we have a great bunch of guys here, which has been enjoyable to work with and learn from and learn about, and also a number of other leaders as well, which contribute a lot to the environment. So like I say, hopefully as a group we can keep growing into this back half of the competition.
I'd just like to prod you a bit on the tactical perspective of captaincy, Kane. What to you is the more challenging phase for a captain? Is it making changes when results are going against you, or keeping the team together to keep a winning habit going?
Yeah, I mean they're both challenges. In terms of a winning habit, sometimes winning can be winning is a tough thing to focus on, I believe, therefore a tough thing to control. So focusing on what we can do as a group or as an individual for the group here and now, I believe is always the most important thing, but also a tough thing and a challenge, because often there's the winning and the losing at the end of a game, which can sometimes distract you. So as a group, I think guys performing their roles as best they can for the team is always the most important thing.
Okay, one final word from you, Kane, before we let you go. The playoffs are right within touching distance for you and your team. What do you want the Sunrisers Hyderabad to focus on in this last phase of group stage games?
Yeah, basically we're not thinking about the playoffs. There's so much cricket left, and as a group there's so much more improving we certainly want to see as a collective, and I think if we're focusing on that, focusing on those small improvements where we know we can make them, which is continuing to adapt to the different conditions that we've been faced with, and from that point looking to be nice and smart with how we operate with the bat, ball and in the field. So if we're taking those steps forward, then hopefully we can improve on performances, and I think if we are improving as a group, then that gives us the best chance to get the results that we want.